Welcome from the break. If you're just joining us, I'm Esther Gishuki, and joining me is none other than Noah Nasiali of Africa Farmers Club. Now, we're just going to talk a little bit about Farmers Club. What was the initiative? What was the drive to start the club? And what exactly do you do?
It's a very interesting thing. Africa Farmers Club started like a joke. I remember I planted cabbages. I was contracted to plant cabbages. So I planted 6 acres of cabbages. But on the day of collection, the person who gave me the contract didn't show up. Yes. And so I was stuck with 75,000 cabbages, not knowing where to take them. You know, I looked at the cabbages, I kept on carrying the cabbages, and at some point my wife told me, we're going to make for you cabbage soup. You know? And so I sat down, and on my way home, I asked myself a few questions. I was still young. I could bounce back. I could try something else, probably. I was still doing my own work in terms of IT consultancy. I could bounce back. But what about this farmer who this is everything for them? You know, they've done all this hoping to sell. I remember I had thought about what I'm going to sell the cabbages, and I knew it was going to be a lot of money. I did a very good job. My guys did a very good job as well. But we could not sell the cabbages because we had never sold cabbages before. It was a contract. We had done so much, you know. And as I was thinking this, I thought, why don't I start something that farmers can be able to talk, you know, we can be able to share. And so initially it was just meant to be Machakos, Kajiado counties, just to talk, around 3,000 farmers or even less, to talk and share ideas, you know. But within the 3 months that we had set to be able to do this, because I remember I worked with some interns who are working in the farm and also just posting in the group. Within the 3 months, we had 16,000 farmers. And I asked myself, I am not an agronomist. I've never studied agriculture. I'm just a farmer. What am I going to do with these people, you know? But everything kept on going as organically. You know, we talked, we organized discussions, crop discussions. We have different days, theme days that we have. We have something called Diagnostic Tuesdays, where farmers come crying with all the problems. We all put our problems there. This is happening to my crop. Wednesday, we have Market Watch Wednesday. You know, on Friday, we have Ask the Expert or Ask the Farmer. And so this is what has transformed from just a thought, an idea, a failed cabbage story, into now a community of farmers. You know, standing at those who are online are more than 140,000 farmers across Africa now, strongly in 8 African countries. And then we have more who are offline, who we're really targeting, those who cannot be able, who are living in areas where there's very, very poor or no connectivity as well. So we have organized them in groups. We have a program now, and hence the reason why we got the award.
And it's amazing what you're doing and how you're transforming through your organization and even the people that you work with, how you're transforming the lives of a lot of farmers who previously were locked out but now have access to information.
There's a certain set of farmers that we've really seen. These are farmers who were like me. I remember how I was lured into farming. I was told if you put 40,000 shillings, after 3 months you'll get 400,000. Esther, I'm telling you, I did not even get that 40,000 shillings. I did not even recover because I did not know how to grow watermelons. Yeah. But I was told if you grow watermelons using 40,000, you'll get 400,000. Nobody told me that you need to grow watermelons, you need to prevent, and hence why watermelon became one of my best crops, because I really had to master and see whether I can really get that 400,000 shillings.
Did you get it?
Eventually, yes, I might.
Good, that's good. Thank you, Noah, for that. It is the role that you're playing in educating farmers is very, very crucial. And we need more of that, as well as encouragement to venture into new avenues and also innovation. And so moving on to an innovation story where milk processors have identified a gap in the market, and they're coming up with products that are targeting those who are lactose intolerant. That is a condition linked to the decreased ability to digest lactose, a sugar found in dairy products. On average, 65% of the global population are lactose intolerant. However, these new product innovations are allowing milk lovers to enjoy dairy products without discomfort.
Close to 40% of our population are having challenges taking milk because they have inability to digest lactose, which is the sugar in milk. And because of that, we identified that as a leading dairy processor, we need to find a solution.
According to the government, such diversification in the market is a step in achieving food security, a key plank in the country's Big Four agenda.
I think it has also allowed diversification of the product range, and this is yet again another product in that great range of milk products that you all are familiar with. And not to mention the fact that it has made value addition possible.
We saw also KEBS and the Department of Livestock also taking action on some fake products that have been brought into the market illegally in Isili and other places. And I want to ask the Department of Livestock, the regulator, who I hope is represented here, the Dairy Board, and the KEBS to be steadfast in making sure that those products do not find their way into the market again.
The research and development team of New KCC showed that up to 40% of Kenya's population is suffering from lactose intolerance.
So we've been talking innovation, getting out there, seeing opportunity and going for it. Before we get into the nitty-gritties, what is your reaction?
I'm laughing because I tested the milk, and it's I think it's great because I am one of that percentage that you mentioned, and I really loved milk, and it took a very long time for me to understand that that is what is affecting me, because I could wake up at night and take milk, and but it would still really affect me, and I think that is something that the new KCC has really done that is amazing, to reach out to a certain percentage that really health-wise, it's really helping as well. Apart from that is also just the innovation behind it is amazing. I would really love to know why they thought about it, why, how they came up with that idea, but it's brilliant. I think one of the things that I have really spoken around and about is the fact that when we talk about inclusivity, we should not talk about inclusivity in agriculture by thinking of the big solutions that should come for farmers. I think one of the things that governments all around Africa have really failed, and also some of the international organizations, is not involving farmers in building these solutions. So when we involve farmers in building these solutions, then we will understand what are these solutions that farmers are looking for. We will understand that I do not want to sell my milk. I would like to have a place where I can process my milk so that I can add value to my milk and sell it and get better revenues. So
it's beginning from the farmer giving the solution, not from up down.
Yes, the farmer giving the solution, or even the farmer giving out his problem, and not for the players to think that this is what the farmer is going through.
Now, did you know that only 5% of Kenyan land is suitable for maize farming? Well, this is according to the Agriculture PS, Hamadi Boga, who said it is time for Kenyans to stop concentrating and over-reliance on maize production and diverse into other crops. Boga continued to say that even the farmers that have been growing maize in places suitable for maize, production is still very low, with an average harvest of less than 20 bags per acre against a potential of 40 bags per acre.
The call for farmers to diversify and plant other crops comes as farmers, especially those from the North Rift region, complained of low cereal price. Wilbur Mutai is the county director in charge of agriculture in Uasin Gishu County.
Last year, we were able to produce over 4.5 million bags of maize, and farmers had a problem in marketing the maize. Because cereals took long to open stores for farmers to supply the maize, and also farmers had reservations on the prices of maize. But going forward, we also, as a county, saw that there is need for us to have a strategy for sustainability in terms of the livelihoods of our people.
Uasin Gishu County is just one of the 47 counties in the country that is pushing farmers to adopt farming of other crops so as to increase farm yields and also enable the soil to regain fertility.
Uasin Gishu was formerly known as White Islands, where the settlers farmed for over 70 years. And after independence, we took over from where they left, and we have never allowed the soils to rest. So our soils are very acidic, and therefore the output yield, the yield has gone down. Productivity has also gone down because of the kind of seeds we get. Sometimes we have doubts on the quality of the seeds, but more so, the coming of fall armyworm and other pests have ruined the cereal sector in Uasin Gishu.
Some of these challenges that the Deputy Governor of Uasin Gishu County, Daniel Chemno, points out are the reasons behind the push for the farmer to embrace farming of other crops as a means for the country to remain food secure.
So what is your take on that story, given that you are a maize farmer, but you also have other crops?
Yes. I think that's it's something that we have also faced the same challenges, because it's not just about the land, but I mean, focusing on the land, I think one of the challenges that especially the maize farmers are facing is the fact that we do not test our soils, you know, and we might not be able to run away from that now. Testing the soil makes the biggest difference. You know, when we test our soils, we can check the nutrients and see how best we can be able to correct the soil. But it is true, land that can really grow maize to get yields is very challenging, you know. But again, it goes back to an education thing. When you talk to farmers and tell them they should diversify, what are they diversifying? You know, what are they changing from maize to, you know? And how sure are you that that particular crop that coming from maize to something else is going to work out, you know? And when you move a farmer from maize to something like onions, how will they sell? You know, they cannot just eat, you know, onions throughout. So I think it has to come back from, the education part of it has to really play a very big role, and make sure that you're telling farmers and asking ourselves also, why are we not getting 40 bags? You know, we've tried and tested this. We can actually get 40 bags in Kitale, but the challenge is, again, weather patterns. The weather has changed, you know. Education and telling farmers which particular variety grows well, you know, which fertilizer, if needed, should they use, and not just which fertilizer, but when should they apply this fertilizer. You know, so it goes from us as Africa Farmers Club, as well as myself as a maize farmer. When you test your soil, it tells you what are the nutrients in the soil. And these nutrients in the soil is what makes the biggest difference, because you will understand your soil. You will know, if I want to grow maize, for me to get this particular yield, this is what I need to do. And apart from just growing maize and improving soil for that particular season, we can be able to say, how can we start a soil correction probably training for farmers in different regions? Because I think we might not run away from maize, but if we have to, and if farmers have to diversify, we also need to take them through a training. These are farmers who have grown maize for 20 years. You don't just change their crop, you know. Probably it's reduce the acreage and do another crop. It could be a crop that also can easily, you know, with maize you can grow maize. If you're not selling now, you can store it.
Yes.
You know, so what are you doing about post-harvest management of any other crop?
Mm-hmm. So there needs to be a lot of education and also a conversation about the diversification. What exactly are we diversifying to? And so we move to the last top story of this week. The biggest hurdle to increasing farmer productivity in Africa today is the continued use of outdated production technologies and practices. There is need to significantly increase the world's food production by 2050. With limited amount of arable land and water levels receding, Microsoft believes that data coupled with the farmers' knowledge and intuition about their farms can help improve farm productivity and also help reduce costs. Our reporter, Margaret Wairimo, with more.
The agriculture industry is facing a monumental challenge of feeding a growing population while preserving scarce resources. To cope with the rising demand in a sustainable way, it is imperative for every industry player to embrace the opportunities offered by today's technology advances. Microsoft is working with the government of Kenya and all agricultural players to digitize farming to grow the sector.
One of our biggest interests in Kenya is to partner with the government and the ecosystem and the academia and all the players to make sure that we can digitalize agriculture, to make sure that we provide jobs to majority of the population in the country, but at the same time we have a positive impact in our GDP, and we're able to create a sustainable economy that can have an impact beyond Africa. It's the ability for a farmer to understand whatever they are harvesting, what is the price and what will happen, if they will have the demand or not. The worst thing that can happen to a farmer is they invest a lot of time, and then when it goes to a co-op, when it goes to deliver, they say, no, we don't need that. And then you lose all the effort that you did. The best thing is to have those systems that today are available that enable to say, based on what you see, plus the weather, plus the offer demand of the market, for this that you're doing, this is what you're gonna get, therefore you can take decisions in a proactive way.
The digital transformation by Microsoft aims at connecting all the value chains in the agricultural sector, from farmers to distribution and far-wide markets.
Kenya has a unique opportunity because when you look the barriers to bring technology to the farmers, you want to connect the farming, you want to connect the whole value chain, and you want to connect even to the end final customer that may be in Africa or may be abroad Africa. There are many other companies that we have worked, like Sun Culture, that enable to use this technology and provide irrigation in places that there was no energy, there was no connectivity. But now they bring to solar panel, leveraging this technology, the ability to provide that to a farmer. Now, a farmer doesn't need to have a specific fancy device, can have a feature phone, or can have a smartphone, or can have just the system that works and being operated in a remote place.
When you look at sort of the innovation in Kenya, it's definitely there, right? So but the ability to sort of now be able to create the end-to-end solution is the one that we're working on, especially with governments, to make sure that the policies are in place, that the innovation ecosystem is there. But then once you have sort of that platform that can speak to the different solutions that are being built, how do we give government an overview, visibility on the data, but also allow them to now be able to make the right decisions at the right time.
The Kenyan agricultural industry must embrace the new wave of technological innovation. Hence, Microsoft is highly engaged in making agriculture interesting, efficient, and a good income generator to all farmers and the youth.
It's very challenging to tell a farmer who has been doing that for 40, 50 years to start using technology, so we have to make it very simple for them. And that's something we're working really hard. From a simple feature phone to working with extension people that may have the technology and the knowledge to go and access those farmers. That's the first thing. Be able to enable them to take better decisions and be able to have more security in their job.
How do we actually then make utilization of that? And that is then based on the youth, right? That ones that are digitally born, that ones that actually use it day to day. And that comes with sort of one, skilling people. And part of our commitment is to be able to train interns, place them in government, but also in partners that are focused on ag, and then be able to sort of give them the tools and the know-how to then be able to drive and create the chain effect to be able to make it a sustainable change and not a one-off engagement.
Microsoft's agenda is to foster a culture of innovation by making it easier for people to connect, share information, and work together across organizational and geographical boundaries. For KTN Farmers TV, I'm Margaret Muiruri.
And so this just even dates back to the conversation that we have been having throughout, actually, this entire program. What is your take on that story?
I really love the fact that they have actually mentioned that, yes, it is an AI product. You know, it is an innovation, a tech innovation, but with the farmer's mind. That is the one of the most powerful part of that innovation. And looking at what they've done in India of the same thing, and the impact is very huge. It might not be as huge as probably the whole innovation should be, but the tests that have been carried out in India, even for something like groundnuts. You know, in Kenya, groundnuts, we even stopped planting groundnuts because we don't even know which soil is the best for groundnuts. So is there a tech solution that can be built so that it gives me like either weekly reminders, you know, like on this week you're supposed to do ABCD, you need to spray, you need to scout, and something that is not that I have to go back to, but probably send me timely reminders. I think it's something that is really important.
And even you coming from a tech background and also being in the agriculture sector, what do you foresee will be the impact of tech in agriculture?
Actually, when I was starting Africa Farmers Club, I thought that now I'm going to mix my hobby, my passion, and my profession. Only that it really failed, because I even saw quite a number of applications being advertised, we downloaded, but I only realized that some of these apps, personally as a farmer, I don't go back to them. And so these innovations should be innovations that are really practical. You know, I remember I was given an app on how to grow watermelon, and it was the most painful because I paid $25 for it, $2,500. Sorry, 2,500 shillings. And this particular app did not have varieties that are grown or sold in Kenya. I still remember that 7 years later.
Wow.
So this innovation, that the tech solution that we're building, let them be very practical. And not just practical, let us look at the user interface. Should be something that any farmer can be able to use.
Okay, so it's about practicality. Yes. And so you've also developed quite a number of apps yourself.
Yes, I've developed programs that can be used by farmers. Initially, we did a chatbot where farmers will be able to put in their details, you know, and it gives you reminders. Only for farmers to say, I'm not understanding this, I want to talk to somebody. And so right now in the process of actually building one that is integrated with the human interface. So one of the programs that we're doing is setting up a call center where farmers can get the interface. I wasn't sure that I was supposed to talk about it now here, but they can be able to talk. They can be able to interact initially with the chatbot. But there's some questions that farmers want. For example, I am at an agrovet right now. I want to buy this. The bot will not ask questions, you know. So there has to be like a human interface in it to ask a few questions. What is the stage of your crop? Where are you? Because not all chemicals or any fertilizer can be used in any region. You know, is it raining or not? So integrating the technology part of it, I can say like the robotic part of it, and the human interface is also very important. It has really helped us, and that's what we're doing.
A human face to the heart and the tech. Okay, great. Thank you so much, Noah, for coming on the show. I'm sure our farmers have learned so much from you, from your valuable insights. I'll give you a chance to sign out. Tell a farmer who's watching you, somebody who's watching you, what would you like to tell them?
I'd like to tell farmers to keep on doing what you're doing. Let us continue sharing information. I'd really like to thank the members of the Africa Farmers Club for what they're doing, and for KTN for having me here, supporting farmers as well. For those who are going on holiday this December, remember to support your local farmers, buy from the farmers, work with farmers. I'd like to urge the government to continue working with us as farmers, involve us in the discussions, not just in boardrooms. Come and visit us in our farms and listen to us, and let us continue feeding Kenya.
And that wraps it up for us here on This Week in Agriculture. Thank you so much for joining us on today's show. And from everyone here on KTN Farmers TV, we bring you seasonal greetings. Keep the conversation going on our SMS line as well as on our social media pages. That is at Farm Kenya 254. I'm Esther Gishuki, and until next time, goodbye.